Okay, you heard it straight from the cat's mouth. Now you're gonna hear it from the dad's mouth. Let's get right in. Street did leave out a few important details, but most of the story was 100% accurate. All right, the story does start in May of 2007 while taking my mom, which was Street's mom, on a trip to the Kentucky Derby to see the horse Street Sense win. And while we were on that trip, Street was being born and thrown in the trash. She told you all that in her autobiography. Okay, so we're going to skip through the times. So let's clarify that her mom was my mom. Okay, and my mom lived with me for pretty much whole life, except for a couple of years when I moved out to California to uh, to set up my life out this way from New York. So I brought her out here, and she's lived with me ever since. So there was about a 3 year uh, part of my life where she didn't live with me. Well, anyway, so Street's years, early years, she'd often stay with my mom because I was often working many hours and still to this day do that. Uh, so while with my mom all day, at night, Street would always find her way into my bed and sleep on my chest. Uh, I guess that was a sign of her missing me. But I remember when she was born, me and mom would feed her around the clock, and it was great. Maybe that's why she kind of latched on to me because I would feed her on my chest. Uh, so fast forward the years, Street had some minor issues here and there, but a bladder infection at one time, crystals. Other than that, all was healthy. She did start developing bone spurs uh, at a pretty early age on the back of her spine, and that's why she has the arthritis and doesn't walk very well today. Because throughout time, it obviously deteriorated more and more, and here we are, 17 years later. So obviously, it's not going to be getting any better anytime soon. But I do whatever I can to make her happy and comfortable. All right, so let's go to 2019. I decided to get married. Uh, we bought a house in 2020, and it's the house Street talked about. Big, lots of space. Obviously, I brought my mom with us. My mom was in her 80s. I think she was about 85 at the time, but my mom was a very healthy 85. Up until her passing, I had her in the gym a day before she was in the hospital. So my mom needed no walkers, no canes. Uh, I would drop her off at the store, come back an hour later, and she was good to go. And so on the day that I did bring her into the hospital for a little water retention, we walked her into the ER in August of the end of August in 2021. Uh, ER doctor came out and said, "Your mom, everything looks fine on her. All her vitals are fantastic. I think this is just a medication switch. My mom did have blood pressure, but what 87-year-old doesn't have blood pressure? But like I said, it was monitored very well and it was in perfect condition, like the doctor said. But anyway, we never know what's brewing. So he said, go get something to eat. He goes, I'm going to check her out a little more. Your mom should be out of here in a couple hours. I said, okay. So we did. That was about 5 o'clock. 11 o'clock goes by. We still haven't heard anything. So we call the hospital, and we talked to my mom. She said that they haven't done anything yet. And I said, okay, I'll bring you food in the morning. Again, it was COVID time, so we couldn't go in. Uh, Next day, I come in. Well, I'm sorry. I get a call about 1:30 in the morning. Doctor says they think she had a stroke, and I said, "What do you mean they think you had a stroke? She had a stroke?" Uh, I said, "I'll be right there." They said, "No, you cannot come in." So the next day, I was able to get in. They said, "Your mom's returning to normal. We just got to see what kind of effect the stroke has long term, and she should be ready to come home later on today or tomorrow." Fine, great. Next day, I go there. They tell me she had a massive stroke again. And I said, "Well, what did you guys do?" It's a long story. I'm not going to get into it or get emotional about it. It was a rough time. So we bring mom home. Street has never been without mom for any length period of time. So I did place her on mom's chest. Mom, couldn't move or anything like that. But I did see her eyes open. And that was, she was very happy that this was her baby. This was her world. Street meant more to her than me. If you can, it sounds kind of funny, but it probably is true. But anyway, it was a rough week in here. My mom lasted another week. Street was with me, laying down with her at all times. I spent that whole week talking to her, even though she didn't respond back. I was telling her how well, excuse me. Okay, I had to cut out for a second. Got a little emotional. I was telling mom how good I would take care of her. And I will definitely not miss anything. A lot of times we take things for granted, signs, and we don't pay attention to certain things. That is the reason why you see me. I am in the vet every other day with this cat. I'm not, this time, I don't want to miss anything. So, uh, so after mom's passing, uh, it was a very, very tough time. Street would often wander in her room looking for her. So I built some cat towers in her room, and Street spent a lot of time. Her legs started really getting bad at that time, in 2021. So she needed a lot of ramps, and that was fine. I had no problem, putting things together, mixing and matching cat towers, and she spent a lot of time in there. But as the years went by, I didn't want her spending time in there alone, so I started pulling her out and making her more into the living room area, and I wanted her around me more. So, so now you want to know about the stroller. So yes, it is true. My mom many years ago wanted to put Street in a stroller, and I was like, no, 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 I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. So decided, I believe it was early 2023, to get her a stroller. And I do it in my mom's memory. And I say, when I stroll around and I'm talking to myself, I say, "Mom, I know you're happy right now because this is what you always wanted." So that leaves us here at TikTok. Now, I don't know anything about this TikTok stuff, nor do I, really care, other than I've met a lot of nice people since I've been on here in late November. I put her on here because I would like to leave a legacy for her, and I would like to share how wonderful she has been with me throughout the 17 years, and I want to share it to people. I don't want to put any sad stuff about her. So when the dark days do come, and let's hope they're many years away, I I don't want to show videos of her being sick or anything like that. That I just want to bring everybody Street's happiness that she has brought me throughout the years. And as you can tell, she is an angel, no doubt. So people tell me about this money thing that you get for it, TikTok and everything. I really don't care about it. I've never seen it, and I don't know how it works. Nor do, like I said, nor do I care. All I care about is sharing my wonderful cat with the rest of you pet lovers out there. And so you can enjoy some good times with her and see her life and how special I treat her, and the great things that I try to do with her, the whole church thing and everything. She loves it. I want to get her out. I don't want her to be in the house. Just because she can't walk very well doesn't mean that she does not get to enjoy her time with me and seeing brand new things in life. Guys and girls, thank you very much for listening to my story, and stay tuned for more street stuff.